Are your investment accounts exposed to too much risk? How will your nest egg be impacted the next time the market experiences a correction? Now is a great time to get a complimentary retirement review with April and the team at Roberts Wealth Management.
We believe planning for retirement should be taken very seriously.
Here's what they'll do. Review your current strategy and expose some of the hidden weaknesses of your retirement portfolio. Compile a fee report to uncover how much you're really being charged in fees. Show you safer money alternatives to ensure you don't outlive your income in retirement. Plus, stress test your portfolio and perform a risk assessment of your current retirement accounts.
It's one of the most important things you can do. It's about planning for your future.
Call Roberts Wealth Management now to get started on your complimentary retirement review with April and the team at Roberts Wealth Management. Call Roberts Wealth Management now.
Now what they need is someone to look at things a little bit differently and to challenge them to think differently about retirement. Because after all, we want to make sure they don't run out of money.
It seems so fresh in most people's minds, the financial downturn of 2008. Tell me how the fear of what might happen if another 2008 should occur affects the people that you work with.
Most people state dividends, rental income, interest, right? But these are sources of income, let's say, but could they change on you?
Oh, sure, yes.
What we want to create is a tax-free income stream in retirement. Let's face it, the more taxes we can save you, the more income you have during retirement. And so if you've paid for it 30 plus years,
Right.
all that money just goes away. If you've instead funded life insurance to cover it and you don't use it, your family gets that money.
You're watching Retirement Now.
Hi, I'm Ben Bauman, and welcome to another edition of Retirement Now with April Roberts, a show that helps you plan the retirement you want. Today, April is here to discuss how much money you may be paying in fees, why finding the right financial advisor is so important, and in the Roberts on Retirement part of our show, we'll shed some light on lifetime income planning. April, it's great to have you with us again.
It's wonderful to be here, Ben.
Let's talk about finding a financial advisor. How do I go about doing that?
Great question. So I think it's important because if people are planning to retire or in retirement, they're basically about to take on one of the largest roles they've ever had in their life, and it's being CEO of their retirement income.
I've never thought of it that way, but yeah.
Right. If you think about the large decisions people have to make, they
Sure.
really haven't had to make those decisions before in their life. And so it's really important for them to find a great consultant to help them along the way.
Okay.
And that's really how we view ourselves at Roberts Wealth Management as their consultant. Because they've been successful, they've gotten retired, they know how to do that, but now what they need is someone to look at things a little bit differently and to challenge them to think differently about retirement. Because after all, we want to make sure they don't run out of money.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you're hiring any good consultant or really any partner in life, I think it's incredibly important to know what that person's made of. So people find that I share a lot of stories with them, but I feel that that's a great way for them to get to know myself, my team, and my family.
Sure.
And so one of my favorite stories happened when I was 12 years old. And if you can imagine, it was the 1980s, right? Put that thought in your brain.
Right.
So big hair, braces, totally awkward, right? It was a very pivotal time in my life. And it was a year I was really searching to find myself. And I remember in particular one Sunday that changed my life forever. I'd just gone to church with my grandparents, and we were having lunch at my parents' kitchen table. And my Papa Joe looked across the table, slapped it, and said, "April, that's it. It's time for you to go to work."
Really?
Yes. So that moment changed my life forever. So that Sunday I followed my Papa Joe to work, and I worked with him every Sunday after that
Wow.
until I got out of high school. And you know, looking back, it's funny how those moments that change our life, he probably just wanted company on Sundays
Yeah,
at his
maybe.
cleaners, but it taught me valuable lessons. So the funny thing was that summer he had a better idea. he thought that, 6 days a week was a good idea for me to work in the back of his dry cleaners.
Why not? Yeah.
Exactly. So I didn't have much idle time. So the first thing my papa taught me was the value of hard work.
Yeah.
And I think about him often, and I'm grateful for that. And then I remember another particular day, I was 18. So, senior in high school, imagine I'm ready to go out and conquer the world, right?
Right.
I'm walking into the cleaners, and I heard an employee, she was kind of flustered, and she was telling my papa something she had messed up, right? And so, of course, she was nervous, because
Right.
my papa was pretty intimidating. And he said, oh, you know what? Don't worry about that. April will be here any moment, and she runs this place anyway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So to this day, it's one of my proudest moments. And it just taught me the value of someone trusting you and earning that trust.
Wow.
Because my papa didn't trust many people. And then I went off to college that fall to Vanderbilt, and I got the news that my grandfather was sick. So we had 2 good weeks at Christmas, and unfortunately he passed away just after that. He'd had leukemia for 5 years. I'd been working with him every Sunday, 6 days a week, and I didn't know.
Oh, my.
Because he was waking up, opening his cleaners. We were just outside Keesler Air Force Base, and the men and women who trained there depended on us to make sure they looked absolutely perfect for inspections on Monday morning. So my papa, who was self-named General Joe, was not going to let these men and women down. So, my papa's final lesson to me was, to serve the people you promise and follow through on your promises.
Wow. Okay. So the value of hard work, trust, and doing what you promise, doing what you say you'll do. Tell me about this word I've heard, fiduciary, in your line of work. Is that kind of what we're talking about with that?
Well, I think a fiduciary should be hardworking.
Yes.
You should trust them, and they should do what they promise.
Right.
Legally, the standard for a fiduciary is to do what's in your best interest.
Okay.
So fiduciaries are usually independent advisors like ourselves, right? So we seem to be this small firm. I mean, we're really a speck on the windshield compared to what's the big box firms, right? But we have partnerships that allow us to be independent and serve our clients in their best interest.
Okay.
So the big box firms, on the other hand, they have a different standard of care. So legally, they have to do what's suitable for you. Is that a little confusing?
And your standard is as a fiduciary to do what's in the client's, my best interest.
Correct.
That seems like a big difference and something I would want to be on the lookout for in looking for a financial advisor. What are maybe another thing or two that I might want to be on the lookout for?
Well, first, make sure the person you're working with is a fiduciary, so they
Yes.
give you the best options for your goals and your plans, right? And then second, I think you really want to talk to someone who listens to you. I mean, my dad told me from the beginning, April, we have one mouth and 2 ears for a reason.
Right.
The most important thing we do is listen to our clients, because what we are is their advocate. So if we don't know our clients, if we don't know what they want, how can we take care of them? So I think often people, are unhappy with their advisor and they're not really sure why. And it's probably because they're not listening to you, or maybe they're listening, but they're not really hearing and understanding you. And the other thing I find is people are confused and frustrated often because they don't really understand what their money's doing for
Sure.
them or where their income's coming from.
Right.
So I think anytime you have these questions or uncertainties, I mean, really, why wouldn't you get a second opinion? I mean, this is one of the most critical parts of life. You have to make it through retirement, right?
Absolutely. All right, April, thanks. Make sure the communication is there. Later on, April will show us how you can generate lifetime income from a portion of your assets. First, though, here's how you can contact April and the team at Roberts Wealth Management.
Are your investment accounts exposed to too much risk? How will your nest egg be impacted the next time the market experiences a correction? Now is a great time to get a complimentary retirement review with April and the team at Roberts Wealth Management.
We believe planning for retirement should be taken very seriously.
Here's what they'll do. Review your current strategy and expose some of the hidden weaknesses of your retirement portfolio. Compile a fee report to uncover how much you're really being charged in fees. Show you safer money alternatives to ensure you don't outlive your income in retirement. Plus, stress test your portfolio and perform a risk assessment of your current retirement accounts.
It's one of the most important things you can do. It's about planning for your future.
Call Roberts Wealth Management now to get started on your complimentary retirement review with April and the team at Roberts Wealth Management. Call Roberts Wealth Management now.
Welcome back to Retirement Now with April Roberts. I'm Ben Bauman. We're here with April of Roberts Wealth Management right here in the greater Houston area. You know, April, it was several years ago now, actually, but it seems so fresh in most people's minds, the financial downturn of 2008. Tell me how the fear of what might happen if another 2008 should occur affects the people that you work with.
Ben, that's a really interesting question because we sit down with people every day. And I find people who are still sitting in cash from 2008
Oh, really?
because they have this concern and they're not sure where to invest. And then I find other people who took the big hit in 2008
Right.
and they're still invested and they said, oh, well, it came back, I'm fine. But we have to change our thinking on both these areas because when you move into retirement, it becomes really critical to start thinking differently.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So when people come and sit down with us, I think one thing that kind of alleviates this concern or fear is having a written retirement income plan.
Okay.
So there's a couple of steps we have to go through to get there. Step number one, Ben, that's on you. I want you to come in and visit with me and tell me how much you need every month.
Oh, okay. It sounds like a budget.
No, I know everyone says that, and
Yeah?
budgets aren't fun. I'm
know.
not talking about a budget. I just want you to look realistically. Sometimes we have engineers that come in, they have their spreadsheet of exactly what they spend.
Right.
Other people have no clue.
Yeah.
So a great way to find out is to just kind of look at 3 to 6 months, your credit card, your bank statement, bills. What's the average that's going out per month?
Yeah,
And that's
okay.
the important piece for us to start with,
Sure,
okay?
right.
So let's say for your household, that's $7,000 a month,
Okay,
right?
right.
And then our second step is to challenge you to think differently. So remember I told you I love to do this? Okay,
yeah.
so just imagine with me that I have 2 buckets sitting next to me.
Okay.
Over here we have retirement income bucket.
All right.
And over here we have the retirement savings bucket.
Okay,
Right?
got it,
Now
yes.
you got to put a division between these 2 buckets. We want to think about them differently.
Okay.
Okay, so Ben, I'm going to challenge you today. Are you ready?
I hope so. We'll see.
Great. Perfect. So what do you think goes into the retirement income bucket?
Well, I would say Social Security would go in there, right?
You're absolutely right. Bingo.
Okay. How about dividends?
I'm going to put dividends over here. Let's come back to it.
Okay. Pension.
Bingo, right in our bucket.
Okay, good. Rental income, perhaps.
Okay, I'm going to put rental income over here with dividends.
Oh, really? Okay.
So let's hang for a second. Do you understand? You see how not very much goes into the retirement
Yeah, I
income
was
bucket?
struggling to think of things that go in there, yeah.
Right, and most people do. And most people state dividends, rental income, interest, right? But these are sources of income, let's say, but could they change on you?
Oh, sure, yes.
A dividend can go up and you're
Right.
elated, right?
Right.
But what happens if it goes down?
Sure.
Same thing with rental income. Let's say that the water heater blows up and your tenant moves out for 3 months.
Yeah.
Are you without income for 3 months? So we really want this to be more consistent sources of income in
see.
this bucket.
Okay.
I like to call it contractually guaranteed sources of income,
All right.
right? So now let's talk about the retirement savings bucket. What do you think goes in this bucket?
Well, if I still have a 401k, perhaps?
Absolutely.
That's in there, a CD,
Yep.
things like that?
Yeah, money under your mattress, same thing, right?
In the Folgers can, buried in the backyard?
You got it. So stocks, bonds, whatever you save for retirement
Right.
is in this bucket. Guess what? Your dividends over here, all these things we put aside.
Okay.
So the first thing we have to do when you come in to see us is look at your $7,000 a month you want to spend, and then we realize that between Social Security and pension, you have $4,500 a month, let's say, coming in.
There's a gap.
Exactly. So our next job, and it's critical, is to fill that gap.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to take things from your retirement savings bucket and imagine we turn on a spigot and turn it into retirement income.
Sure, okay.
And so that's really important. So can you see how if you have that $7,000 a month covered, again, don't worry about inflation and taxes, we'll figure that out. You're not quite as concerned about a downturn on the savings bucket.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Well, tell me, what does that look like? Filling that gap that I may have in my retirement income bucket.
Right. So I love to talk about building your retirement income
Right.
home. And I just think it's the basics of investing. You want a foundation, you want walls and a roof, right?
Yes.
So let's just imagine what's the most important part about a foundation?
Well, you want it stable.
Stability. So we want to fill our income with sources that come from your foundation.
Okay.
So one of the best out there currently is through life insurance companies.
Okay.
So either through an annuity or through life insurance, we can get you that stream of income to fill the gap. Now, Ben, I'm not telling you to run out and buy an annuity because there are tons out there. So you definitely want to be working with a fiduciary that's doing a holistic plan for you and then finding the right annuity to fill that gap for you and your family.
Okay, yeah, that's great advice. Thanks so much. And the question, I guess, is do you have an income gap in retirement? Do you even know? Well, maybe it's time to find out. Here's how you can contact April and the team at Roberts Wealth Management. When we come back, April will shed some light on some things you can do to help make sure you don't outlive your money in retirement. Stay with us.
Are your investment accounts exposed to too much risk? How will your nest egg be impacted the next time the market experiences a correction? Now is a great time to get a complimentary retirement review with April and the team at Roberts Wealth Management.
We believe planning for retirement should be taken very seriously.
Here's what they'll do. Review your current strategy and expose some of the hidden weaknesses of your retirement portfolio. Compile a fee report to uncover how much you're really being charged in fees. Show you safer money alternatives to ensure you don't outlive your income in retirement. Plus, stress test your portfolio and perform a risk assessment of your current retirement accounts.
It's one of the most important things you can do. It's about planning for your future.
Call Roberts Wealth Management now to get started on your complimentary retirement review with April and the team at Roberts Wealth Management. Call Roberts Wealth Management now.
Welcome back to Retirement Now with April Roberts of Roberts Wealth Management here in the Houston area. You know, an investment loss after retirement can have a dramatic impact on income over the course of your retirement. So, April, how can our viewers avoid outliving their income in retirement?
Today, we're going to be talking about ways to increase your income during retirement. And then we're going to go one step further. I want to show you how to not just increase your income in retirement, but I want to show you tax-efficient strategies. Let's take a look at this case study. Here we have a 55-year-old female. She's still working, but instead of overfunding her 401k, what we're going to do is have her fund a life insurance policy, and not necessarily for the death benefit. What we want to create is a tax-free income stream in retirement. Let's face it, the more taxes we can save you, the more income you have during retirement. Based on historical returns, we're going to look at this 55-year-old woman who's going to be putting in $10,000 a year for 15 years. At age 70, I want you to notice, she'll begin to receive approximately $24,000 a year for this type of life insurance plan. We'll be taking income at 70, and this should last her well into her 90s. This could save her tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes in retirement. I don't know about you, but I believe taxes will be going up. We want to make sure that we are building tax-efficient strategies. I also think it's important to mention that when she passes away, whatever death benefit is left inside of this contract will be passed on to her beneficiaries, her loved ones, income tax-free. Let's look at some examples. Let's say this person lives until age 85. There is still approximately $195,000 left in the death benefit. Again, income tax-free. This is such a great strategy. It feels a lot like a Roth IRA, meaning it's income tax-free in the distributions, but the key here is that you're not limited to the IRS maximum contributions that you can make each year. It used to be that when you heard the words life insurance, all you would think about is the death benefit, and that's just not the case anymore. There are so many more strategies that we use that I'd love the opportunity to show you. Just give us a call. Come sit down with us and we'll customize your portfolio to your retirement and income needs. Ben?
April, thanks. Our Q&A segment is coming up. First, though, here's a special offer from April and the team at Roberts Wealth Management.
Are your investment accounts exposed to too much risk? How will your nest egg be impacted the next time the market experiences a correction? Now is a great time to get a complimentary retirement review with April and the team at Roberts Wealth Management.
We believe planning for retirement should be taken very seriously.
Here's what they'll do. Review your current strategy and expose some of the hidden weaknesses of your retirement portfolio. Compile a fee report to uncover how much you're really being charged in fees. Show you safer money alternatives to ensure you don't outlive your income in retirement. Plus, stress test your portfolio and perform a risk assessment of your current retirement accounts.
It's one of the most important things you can do. It's about planning for your future.
Call Roberts Wealth Management now to get started on your complimentary retirement review with April and the team at Roberts Wealth Management. Call Roberts Wealth Management now.
Welcome back to Retirement Now with April Roberts. I'm Ben Bauman. Now's the time for April to answer your questions. Ready, April?
As always, Ben.
Let's get started. From Dusty in the Woodlands. He says, I'm thinking about retirement in a few years. I'll have Social Security. I also have a 401k. How do I go about taking income from that account?
Well, Dusty, first, kudos for planning for retirement ahead of time. I love it when people come to me before they retire so we can get a great plan in place so when they retire, they have confidence in what we're doing.
Sure.
Right? But Ben, people come to us after that as well. If they have an income gap or something they need help with, we're happy to help as well.
And you can work with those people too. Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what I love about this question is Dusty's already thinking toward income. So
Yeah.
that tells me that he knows his Social Security isn't going to fill his income gap.
Okay.
So Dusty, just think about it this way. You have a retirement income bucket and you have a retirement savings bucket.
Right.
So your Social Security falls into the retirement income. I can tell by your question that you feel like you don't have enough income here to meet how much you want to spend in retirement.
Okay.
So what we want to do is roll out that 401k into an IRA. It's a non-taxable event, by
Right.
the way. It stays tax deferred.
Okay.
But what it allows us to do is to have multiple options rather than the limited options in his 401k.
Okay.
So for example, he has an income gap. So we may want to take a portion of that and put it into an annuity to create a stream of income to help fill that gap. And with the rest of it, what we want to do is really hammer in on what Dusty's risk number is. So that's that perfect balance between how much return he wants on the upside and how much risk he's willing to take on the downside. So we have this great tool that can hone in on that, and it allows us to customize his portfolio so the rest of his investment he's happy and comfortable with.
Okay, very good. How about this one from Kim in League City, who says, I never really understand what my advisor is telling me. He says, don't worry about it. I'm the expert. Should I worry?
Wow. So, Kim, I like to say anytime you say the word worry, yes, you should be worried.
Okay, right.
We can't ignore our feelings. So I think first and foremost, if you're worried and you have questions, you should first go in and see your advisor and force him to answer your questions. Because, I mean, that's what he's there to do.
Right.
He may be the expert, so he says, but it's your money, and it's important that you understand what's going on with your money. So, Ben, I always like to think back. My dad trained me when I first got in this business.
Sure.
He said, April, we have one mouth and two ears for a reason. Right?
Okay.
Do you know what that is,
Yeah,
Ben?
listen more than we speak, right?
Exactly.
Right.
So that's a major part of our job, to really hear our clients, what's important to them, what they're comfortable with, what they want their money to do for them. Because money has a purpose, and we're here to help them reach their purpose, their goal, and to fill their income for retirement. So, Kim, if you don't feel that's happening with your current advisor, it's very easy to go out and get a second opinion, right? If you're worried, get your questions answered. So if your advisor won't do that, go talk to another one.
Yeah, there should be a comfort level there, right, in this
Absolutely.
relationship? Okay, very good. Here's one more. This is from Will in Houston, who says, I'm 60, my wife is 58. We've looked at long-term care insurance, but it's so expensive. I'm wondering if there are other options.
Will, I hear this a lot. And the problem is some people, ran out and got long-term care insurance when they were younger because they thought, hey, I'll get it for a better price.
Right.
And what's happening is the premiums are continuing to go up.
Right.
So more and more people are looking for other alternatives. So really when it comes to long-term care or home health care coverage, there are three options, Ben.
Okay.
Option number one is long-term care insurance. Option number 2, we can actually solve for using life insurance.
Really?
Absolutely. So life insurance today is not what we think of. Most people think in retirement they don't need life insurance.
Yes.
So maybe they don't need it, but maybe they want it for one of these other reasons.
Okay.
So one purpose could be to cover long-term care or home health care. And Ben, what I love about this option is, let's say that you live to the ripe old age of 95, right?
Okay, sure.
You're out walking your dog, having a great day, and you dropped out of a heart attack.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
know, not fun to think about.
No, but you haven't needed the long-term care coverage.
Exactly. And so if you've paid for it 30 plus years,
Right.
all that money just goes away. If you've instead funded life insurance to cover it and you don't use it, your family gets that money. And do you know what the best part is, Ben?
What's that?
It's that your family gets it income tax free,
Okay.
right? And then there's a third option. The final option is an annuity. So some types of annuities also provide some long-term care or home health care coverage. And a great part about this option, Ben, is you don't have to go through any medical testing on this portion to get into the annuity. So for people who are concerned that they wouldn't pass the medical testing for long-term care or life insurance,
Right.
or maybe they're older, this could be a great option for them.
Okay, options. That's great for people to know that they're out there. If you have a question, you can visit askaprilroberts.com or call the number on your screen. We may use it in one of our upcoming shows. I'm Ben Bauman saying so long for April Roberts and the team at Roberts Wealth Management, because you deserve better.
Are your investment accounts exposed to too much risk? How will your nest egg be impacted the next time the market experiences a correction? Now is a great time to get a complimentary retirement review with April and the team at Roberts Wealth Management.
We believe planning for retirement should be taken very seriously.
Here's what they'll do. Review your current strategy and expose some of the hidden weaknesses of your retirement portfolio. Compile a fee report to uncover how much you're really being charged in fees. Show you safer money alternatives to ensure you don't outlive your income in retirement. Plus, stress test your portfolio and perform a risk assessment of your current retirement accounts.
It's one of the most important things you can do. It's about planning for your future.
Call Roberts Wealth Management now to get started on your complimentary retirement review with April and the team at Roberts Wealth Management. Call Roberts Wealth Management now